Hi there, I'm Sophia Mitropoulos. I am an artist, and today I wanted to sit down with you, have a little 10:30 p.m. chat about my favorite Amazon art purchases. Does this conversation have to happen at 10:30 at night for me? No, but I do kind of wish that slumber parties included this kind of conversation. They typically don't. So, we can just have slumber party vibes as we talk about the best art supplies that I've purchased for my personal collection on Amazon. The first Amazon art supply purchase that I want to cover is the sketchbooks. I usually like to buy Strathmore or Canson sketchbooks. If I'm going Canson, I'm definitely getting the mixed media spiral bound sketchbook. That is one of my favorite sketchbooks. But if I'm going in a watercolor direction, I usually like to go for a Strathmore book. I don't know why, those are just the ones that I like. I've purchased a variety of different sized sketchbooks on Amazon. The biggest one that I've purchased is an 18 by 24 inch Strathmore watercolor paper, and that is kind of reminiscent of the sketchbooks that I would have in college. If I took a drawing class, we had 18 by 24 sketchbooks there as well. Another Amazon art supply purchase that is a little on the pricier side that ended up being a huge return on investment for me personally was the Silhouette CAMEO vinyl cutter. I bought this specifically because I had had access to one during college, and when I graduated, it was the first art supply that I bought for myself, and this allowed me to cut my own stickers, which I then sold. So I sold a series of holographic vinyl stickers that I cut by myself using the Silhouette CAMEO. Now, funny story about this, when I was moving out of California, I sold this product on eBay. The person that I sold it to couldn't figure it out, we'll just say that, and they blamed it on being a product flaw, which actually there's just a learning curve with the Silhouette CAMEO, and they returned it, but I had already moved, so for absolutely no cost to me, I shipped it out from California and they shipped it back to me in New York. So I shipped it to myself in New York with like 4 months in between. It was very strange. Any vinyl cutter is really useful, but I like this one just because it's the one that I learned on. They really help if you're trying to do stencils on paper, or if you're doing vinyl cut stickers or vinyl cut displays, things like that. And the really awesome thing is the cutter itself isn't that expensive, and the vinyl can be very affordable depending on what kind of vinyl you buy. So if you're selling something like stickers, where you can fit 50 stickers on a 12 by 12 sheet and sell them each for $3, $4, you can make a pretty decent profit from that. So it was definitely a super useful product for my online store when I was running that. The next Amazon product I have to shout out is the gouache. If you have seen my videos before, there's a very good chance you've seen that I use the gouache set a lot. I didn't use it as much. Actually, before I started my YouTube channel, I didn't use it quite as much as I use it now because I really like to make videos with it because you guys seem to really like it, but I really enjoy it. I think it's a really unique way to work with paint, and it just makes it kind of fun. And forget learning how to work with gouache, but to learn how to work with jelly gouache is like a totally different experience. So I had a lot of fun learning to use it and unboxing it. It's just a really aesthetically pleasing experience as a buyer, and it's really affordable. And if you haven't seen any of my videos with the gouache set, you can check out the whole playlist up here. The next thing that I do want to shout out is, while I don't have the products anymore, something that I used a lot was silkscreen materials. While I didn't actually buy the screens on Amazon, I purchased so many materials for screen printing from Amazon, from the ink to the squeegees to the emulsion and the UV light, and pretty much everything I used to set up my home setup that I had, which I no longer have because I sold it all. And that was really useful because the screen printing products that Amazon supplies, I used Ecotex for a lot of them, and it was nice because they were affordable. They didn't come in really gigantic sized bottles, so I didn't have to be concerned about buying an industrial amount and then only using a personal sized amount of screen printing supplies. And if I had any issues with any products, they were really easy to return. By the way, the links to all of these products are in the description below if you want to check them out. I do get a small percentage of your order if you do order them, so if you want to support me at all, I would really appreciate it. I mean, I'm talking a couple pennies, so. Or if you just want to listen to me talk about my art supplies, that's cool too. I don't judge. I did purchase the Arteza gouache set of 60 from Amazon, and I do like it. I don't use this as much as I should because there are so many paints and I haven't figured out a way to display them in a better way, but it is really awesome to be able to have so many different pre-mixed paints. I'm really used to mixing my own colors. When I learned with gouache the first time, it was in a design class, so we only had cyan, magenta, and yellow, so we had essentially CMYK like a printer, so we were mixing all of our own colors. We did the entire color wheel from that class. So to be able to go from that to a box set of 60 was crazy. It's nice because if I want to work with a limited palette and I want to practice using smaller volumes or take some to go, I have a really wide selection of colors that I can choose from Arteza. Hi guys, I am editing right now. I've always wanted to do a shot like this, but honestly I haven't actually forgotten anything until just now. Something I did forget to mention in this video is my block prints. I wrote it down on my list to mention, but I just completely skipped over it, I guess. I recently made a video using all these block printing materials, which you can check out, and I really enjoy them. They're a really easy entry point into printmaking, and it's a really easy way to make prints at home. If you primarily do drawings and stuff like that, it's a great way to change up the way that you're making your art. So I got my off-brand Speedy Carve and my ink and brayer from Amazon, and then you also can buy the same tools that I use. I just had purchased these ahead of time when I was taking a printmaking class in college. Back to the regularly scheduled program. Now this is a weird one. One of my favorite purchases is a black paper sketchbook from Amazon. I spent a really long time looking for a black paper sketchbook in art supply stores. Granted, I did buy this in 2017, but the first time I found it was on Amazon. I learned about black paper sketchbooks from a visiting artist while I was in undergrad, and he essentially talked about using black paper as a way to break himself out of the habits of undershading things and certain behaviors that you develop when you're working on white or toned paper. When you're working on black paper, you really have to work backwards from your darkest values into your lightest values. Now, the thing about working on black paper is that you have to have opaque markers, which is where probably my all-time favorite in this whole video comes up: POSCA markers. I'm sure you've seen them around on YouTube before. They are Japanese acrylic paint markers. They are fantastic. Some people love them and some people really do not like them, but I am a big lover of POSCA markers. I purchased my first 2 box set sizes from Amazon, and then later on purchased individual ones from a local art supply store, but these markers are fantastic. They last forever. Even when you work them really hard, there's somehow still always a little bit of paint left in there. I've had mine for 2 years now, and I go through seasons of using them, but I've put them through a lot, and they're only just now starting to dry up a little bit. My next 3 favorites have to do with cutting. The first one is my gigantic 18 by 24 cutting mat that is reversible pink and blue. Is that excessive? Perhaps, but I do love it. I think it is just the best, truly just the best. And with that, something that I really enjoy using is a lot of times I will DIY my t-shirts into crop tops, and I've learned a fantastic lesson is that the FISKARS rotary cutter plus a nice big cutting mat is the perfect tee cropping material. Now, is it art supplies or is it craft supplies? I think they kind of go hand in hand. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I consider everything I make to be a form of my art. I don't really care if it's a craft project or not. I still consider it to be art. I think art and craft can coexist. Let me know what you think in the comments. But regardless, the rotary cutter is a lot of fun. You get perfect, clean, beautiful cuts, and it's just a pleasure to work with. And similarly, the next product under the same brand is the FISKARS paper slicer. This thing has saved my life so many times. I'm pretty good with scissors. I do pride myself in my ability to use scissors and an X-Acto knife pretty skillfully. I do have a bachelor's in fine art. I would hope that I could at least come out with the ability to cut things straight. But this thing just makes cutting straight corners so much faster, so much cleaner, so much easier. If you're doing any sort of batch making of any capacity, which I've done a lot of zine cutting or postcard cutting. Early on when I started my business, I would print my own thank you cards and I would cut those with that cutter. It is so useful to just be able to get a really clean line. And you don't always need the big chop ones. This is just an appropriate small studio-sized paper cutter. And then the last one I want to talk about is just my little set of washi tape. I try not to overdo it with washi tape, so I just bought this tiny set because it will last me for years. So these are the ones that I like. I bought this also a couple years ago, and I am still working on it. I don't use washi a whole lot, but I do like the chrome finishes. All of these art supplies were bought over the course of a couple of years, but these are some of my favorites that I've purchased. They have really helped evolve my art. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found a new art product that you have never seen before, or that you didn't know about, or that you suddenly very much need in your life. And let me know if that's the case, because recently I've been thinking that some things that may seem obvious to me, I realize that other people are maybe just one chapter behind me and haven't heard about it yet. So I want to make stuff for those people. So hopefully you're one of those people. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every Wednesday and Friday so far. And please give this video a like. I'm Sophia Mitropoulos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Bonus shot. 2 cats on the bed. Oh. Scared by my shadow. Look how cute they are.